Hi everyone, Lisa Haven here. Well, the World Economic Forum, along with many globalist tyrants, are right now doing everything in their power to make this pandemic infinite. As in, this new normal, this new system will never ever go away. They want the power and the authority to control not only the American people, but also the globe. And I've got some interesting stuff I have to share with you. But just as a quick reminder, please don't forget to check out my partner at noblegoldinvestments.com. If you've not converted your 401k, now is the time to do that because they're giving away this awesome Apollo coin, which is over a $300 value, and it comes with any approved IRA. So check it out at noblegoldinvestments.com. All right. So let me show you a bit of what I'm talking about here, because the World Economic Forum has always been on the United Nations Agenda 21 path, where they're all about depopulation. And this COVID-19 pandemic is kind of making them more sort of anti-human. Take a look here on lifesitenews.com in this article. Globalist elite post-COVID vision for humanity is satanic and anti-human. While the World Economic Forum is not actually promoting the idea that humans should cease to exist in so many words, the idea is there for everybody to consider. Now, here's some articles on World Economic Forum actually promoting the idea of this new normal anti-human system never ever going away. I'm talking about social distancing, some of the mandates that we have on and off, the mask mandates, the lockdown mandates. But take a look, these next articles all come from the World Economic Forum. First one here, Untact, South Korea plan for contact-free society. And that's a contact-free society as in indefinitely, right? Here's another one, universal basic income is the answer to inequalities exposed by COVID-19. What does universal basic income have to do with a pandemic, and why are they including the two together? Well, it's obvious. They want to implement their new standard, and their new standard is UBI. Why universal basic income? Because with it, they can control what you do, who you are, how much food you eat. They control everything. That's called socialism. Here's another one here. World Economic Forum, resetting the way we teach science is vital for all our futures. COVID-19, right there at the bottom, has forced big changes in the way lessons are delivered. Why does COVID-19 have anything to do with the way science is taught in our schools? You see, because there's a radical agenda to teach our children one particular political side. That's socialism, which came along with Communist Core, also known as Common Core in the school system. So let me tell you a story, because this one just really hit home. My husband and I the other day went out to a restaurant, and we met an older guy there who was there with his son. And he was from the United Kingdom, but we kind of hit it off, and he came over to our table and just sat with us, and we had a conversation. But it's the conversation that really struck me. And he said this when we were talking. He goes, you know, with this COVID-19 pandemic in the United States of America, he said, all the people, you know, they're very feisty was the word that he used. And when the government tells them to do something, they don't necessarily do it. And your numbers spiked here in the US, right? Which they did, but we all know why if you follow my channel, but I digress. He then goes on to explain, well, over in the UK, he goes, when the government told us to stay home and stay put, we all listened and obeyed. We stayed home and stayed put, because when our government tells us to do something, we listen, we obey, and we do it. And I sat back for a minute. I thought, oh, okay. And he kind of walked back at that point, because I gave him a kind of just sat there and said nothing. And he realized what he actually said, because he was a very smart guy. And he goes, well, we were trained to do that. Our entire lives, we were taught to obey the government, so we did. And I thought, isn't that interesting? Because what if, right, over in the UK, they gave some kind of mandate like, you know, Hitler back in the day. I said, what if? I said, would you obey your government if, you know, they were doing the things Hitler did? And he says, oh, that wouldn't happen. It happened before. It's very possible it can happen again. But it's very easy to follow along the lines of obedience, because to him, he felt that that was easier for him to do, and it was less stressful for him just to obey and do what the government says and not ruffle any feathers of any way, shape, or form, because they know what's best. And that made me thinking about the United States of America. This is the same mentality that they're teaching in our kids' schools right now. It has nothing to do with, well, if your government makes mandates against the Constitution, then they're not appropriate. If it's against our freedom of speech, if it's against our rights to bear arms, or against any of our constitutional rights, there's many, freedom of press and everything, then the government doesn't have a right to mandate a law against our Constitution. You see, and then I got to thinking, well, has the guy over in the UK ever experienced freedom? I said, well, if you experienced the freedom that we had in the United States of America, would you think differently? And I asked him that question straight out, and he goes, well, I don't know. I've never had it. And I think that's the concept that they want. They want a generation and generations of people who haven't had freedom. And once they take it away, it doesn't come back. And that's my warning to you, the American people. Why are we so willing to give up our freedom? For comfort? For security? For less stress in our lives? When we're about to lose every ounce of freedom we have with this COVID-19 pandemic, we're already losing it. We will become like that guy. Well, it's how we were raised. It's how we were taught. When the government says to do something, we obey. When the government says, walk into a concentration camp because it's a beautiful place, we obey. Or when the government says that we need to take 80 to 90% of your paycheck, we obey. Or when the government says that you have to wear masks forever, amen. Regardless of the health risks or stress risks involved. This is what's happening here. And it just really, really hit home with me. That this is the actual mentality that they've convinced a whole group of people over the UK to abide by. And then the UK, and that's not all of them, right? But I would imagine it's a lot of people. And thus it is in the US. What are you willing to give up? When we have a generation of unfree people, you don't get your freedom back because the people get so comfort and content on being told what to do. We're in the United States of America. Nobody should be telling us how to eat, what we can and can't share in the news, what we can and can't say. This is the very thing that made our country great and why people come here to experience that freedom. And I just wanted to pour that out to you guys because I think it's critical, especially in light of what's happening to people right now. Millie Weaver was just arrested. She's the InfoWars reporter. Take a look, rtnews.com. InfoWars reporter Millie Weaver arrested mid-premiere of her whistleblowing investigation into shadow government. Now, Millie Weaver was going to put out that video the same day that she was arrested. Is that a coincidence? Well, I'll leave that for you to decide. But basically, she went ahead and had somebody get it out for her. I have watched this video, and it exposes an entire network of this clandestine organization, starting at the top with your John Brennans and your Michael Haydens and your James Jones. And it kind of goes down into these branched organizations that form this network of people doing dirty work and basically looking into any and all organizations they want illegally. And she exposes this and suddenly gets arrested. Is this the freedom we want in the United States of America? Because it's looking more and more like China every single day. Anyhow, I want to encourage you guys, please get over to restrictedrepublic.com. That's why we've created networks like Restricted Republic, because it is on those platforms that we can speak to you about what's truly going on in the United States of America. And right now it's got a 14-day free trial. And we're really putting everything on the line to bring you the news and the truth of what's going on. So check that out at restrictedrepublic.com. Anyhow, I love all of you. Thanks again for tuning in. I'm Lisa Haven, signing out.